And we're back.
And we're back.
Welcome to Coach's Corner. Welcome to Coach's Corner, where we change relationships with food and fitness. This is Getting It Daily. I'm Coach Lyndon. This is
Amy.
Coach Debbie.
And again, this is Coach's Corner. If you've never seen this before, just get ready to hear us talk, have a good time, and go over things we think are helpful to people as far as community and what you can do for your body. Health is wealth, movement is medicine. Like the videos, share the videos, and if you haven't, hit that subscribe and notification button so you know when it's coming and you're ready for when it's coming.
That's right.
All right?
Wow.
We were actually on Emily talking about physical
bugs.
and again, how to actually treat them. Yes.
Yeah.
Continue.
All right. Well, I will say, to wrap up, I love medicine that's not medicine.
We all love medicine.
Yeah,
that is medicine.
that is actually
That's
medicine.
true.
The real medicine.
We got
That's
it all
right.
twisted up.
The OG.
Yo. I'm not surprised. All right.
Yeah, actually, not at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
Unsurprising. Yeah, I think also movement. Like right now in my life, I feel stressed as fuck, and my body is feeling it because I'm not taking the best care of myself. I'm still moving, which is great, but I got to get my food in order. So I think, especially because we're going towards gross bug season,
Gross bug season.
I really need to get that together because I need my body to work. Because all you got is you. Got to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
That was the end?
Yeah, that was the end.
Oh, okay.
It's a cliffhanger.
I think we all agree that you don't just have you. You have a whole community.
Got him.
Well, like you got one body to live
starts
in.
and ends
you
with
can't
you.
live in somebody else's body.
you know what's really great? You know what's really great
What?
about having other people?
Body snatchers? What's happening over there?
You knew that was going on.
Inside thing.
Tried to live inside a shirt.
Don't ask. You shouldn't ask.
Don't ask.
Now I want to ask more.
We'll tell you later.
We'll talk about it.
This isn't for the camera. She's like, don't ask. She's like, I'm asking.
I'm asking. Now I'm
later.
asking.
Later. That's what she did. Later.
Debbie just made crazy eyes.
Sometimes you gotta make crazy eyes.
Right.
Okay, so I'd actually like to point out the importance of community when it comes to these things, because let's say you don't have the time to become a whole agriculturalist. That makes sense. But ironically, there are plenty of places that are local to you. I can guarantee you that if you do a little bit of research, you will find places that are local that will happily not only educate you, but also help you get some of the things that you need. I can tell you, even in our community, we have at least 2 farmers. We have an agricultural specialist, and
Mad
again,
people who are part of community gardens.
I was gonna say a lot of people who understand fruits and vegetables in total, and again, it's all part of it. It's part of my reason why I love the phrase, "What's knowledge and what's wisdom?" Right? Why is this knowledge applied, not the other way around? So you can learn a lot of things, but if you never use them, then it doesn't matter in terms of being wise. You're only wise when you apply what you know. So get to know some of your local spaces where you can get fruits and vegetables. And ironically, it's probably going to be a lot less expensive than it is when you go to Wegmans. The biggest catch is using it. they expire way faster.
Oh yeah, fruits and veggies, they be going bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you got
gotta
real mad.
gotta use them.
It's strawberries this summer. You were so mad.
Well, I think you're more mad at strawberries, but yeah, strawberries.
You kept talking about it.
Strawberries freaking stink these days.
You were
yo.
pissed.
Strawberries are like
Yeah.
water and water
Yeah.
trying
Water
to be a
seeds?
strawberry.
Whole another
Water
thing.
seeds?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
That's a
we're
big
changing
project.
food to
Water
like not
seeds.
have any like
It doesn't even have seeds anymore.
food quality. Yeah, take the seeds out. It's like not food.
Forget about using your
We're
taste
like,
buds.
this will never go bad, and you're like, that. I don't want that.
It's a
I don't want
It's a
that.
permaberry.
It is very interesting how
Very.
the things that are good for you are the things that perish quickly,
Facts.
right? That's a
Message.
very, very interesting thing. So like, again, we're talking about physical health and mental health, and I actually think that that is a resounding message actually. So if things are perishing, like let's say again, good fruit lasts you without being cared for in any way, just left out. Let's say anywhere to 3 and 5 days is very high, depending on
Like
the
how
type.
ripe it was when you
right,
got it,
exactly.
stuff like that,
But that's
yeah.
really high. So if you go on a Saturday, you
Yeah.
got till Tuesday to use it,
Yeah.
right? Like well.
And if it's 90.
Yeah, that's
It's
what I'm.
gonna, like,
that's what
go
I'm saying.
quicker, right?
That's what,
Like,
that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Like it's literally the environment that will make it last longer or not last longer once you pull it from the ground. Again, important. What's way more important to me is, again, that when it's perishable, it not only tastes better, but it's way better for you. So if you're looking to get your nutrients and things, then again, this is why community gardens or spaces that have people who explain those things can be very good for you.
Stay out of that non-perishables.
Yeah, yeah. And if you do, like, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy a piece of cheesecake or a cookie here or there. Just make sure it's not the mainstay of your diet. 80% of your diet should be good. If you want to have 20% that ain't so great, you'll live a long and happy and healthy life. It's literally been looked up and researched. But at the same time, if you feel sick and you're not taking care of yourself, maybe try looking up something that would balance how you don't feel good. That could help tons. So if I feel lethargic, right, I can look up something that gives me energy. It could be that simple.
Maca root.
Most of the time, actually, maca root, I would actually just say you can keep it in minerals.
Yeah.
Iron.
Yeah, iron. Yeah.
Iron is a
Efficiency.
very big one that you can find in a ton of different things, and that will help you feel a ton better. If I actually give anyone supplementation, I literally choose things that are herbs if possible, right? Because there's a lot of man-made iron. Fun fact, I did research back when I was a bodybuilder, and this is why I knew what was different. I can't tell you specifically, but I can give you general numbers because they probably changed. Let's say 5 years ago, if you had iron, like you had an iron pill, there was a statistic that men may absorb 50% and women absorb 25. That means 3/4 of the pill gets lost. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't even flush. It literally
stuck in the bottom of your
dissipates and
feet
gets
and
stuck
shit.
in your body, which is way worse. If it passed, it's okay, right? That's what you want.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't even absorb into the body, it just builds, it gunks. And that's why a lot of people end up feeling like they have poisoning.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So now again, there's herbs like maca root, and let's just say herbs and spices in general are known for a 75+ absorption rate. It's a no-brainer if you look at what it's for. Right? Like, who's not gonna go? Would you pay $10 to make sure it does what it's supposed to do? Or would you pay $5 and maybe it does what it's supposed to do?
50%.
So this is why we start paying more for our food, right? This is where we start paying more for supplementation. This is why you become food bougie, right? Like, that's why people do that.
I love that that's called food bougie.
I just made that up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm here for
yeah,
it.
I mean, it's true though. It's like if you eat more natural, you're called bougie, which is ass backwards.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like they're taking all of the vitamins, minerals, the nutrients out of the food and making it cost a lot less. They're putting fillers
Which
in there.
is crazy. Like, that's so much more work.
Yeah.
to
Well,
make
it's
it crap.
not
profitable.
it's not
It's
more
profitable,
it's
yeah.
not more work if it's profitable.
Right.
It's less work if it's profitable.
Yeah.
But that's all
Because
part
you
of
can
that.
put more people to work, everything. Again, we getting into the
Yeah.
weeds. a
Yeah.
little
Now we're getting
Yeah.
into it.
Right, and what I'm saying with everything that I'm saying is to say, take a look at what's actually available for you and why. This is why I know about micronutrients. This is how I learned. It was a funny joke earlier, but I was dead serious. I was like, as a BIPOC person, I don't need a lot of white shit. I was like, and this sounds wild to the average person, but if you've done your research,
Yo, Bryn was right
what's
there with
white?
you.
Flour, sugar, like your regular things that are white actually aren't that good for you, right? Cottage cheese is not something I eat at all. But I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying I know my body does not do well with that, so I will not consume it.
Colorful
like that.
food.
Yeah, I actually full spectrum, bro. Like literally the rainbow of colors. If you consume that, make you feel amazing, right? And again, you can have some. I just started this whole thing with protein balls, man. Like it ain't like you can't have other stuff. But again, look at it for what it is. It's supplementation. It's not staple. It's something you can have. It's something you can use to get where you want to go. But again, it's not your diet. Your diet needs to be real. And again, if you feel bad, like let's say you have bags, how's your diet?
Yeah.
Right?
And I just heard some common misconception. That's how it came up this morning. Ivy came in not feeling so great, and then everyone was like, "Oh, when I get sick this, when
started
I get
sharing.
sick this winter." And then Sasha was like, "Don't wish that on me." And I was like, "All right, let's talk about it. Like, you don't have to get sick every winter." I think a lot of people are just like in the headspace of, "Oh, it's gonna happen," and yeah, it does. We're all living in community. If you got kids, they're dirty.
covered in germs. It's
Yeah,
true.
but like,
I wish that wasn't true. but it
Nah, they're
definitely is.
sticky too.
yeah, a kid always dirty and sticky.
If you allow that kid to play, that's a fact.
Yeah. So like germs are gonna be around, but you do not. If you treat your body well, you don't have to get sick every winter.
Germs are just gateways. They don't necessarily make you sick.
Right.
Like germs themselves do make you sick, but I'm talking about having them around doesn't
Yeah.
mean you're actually going to catch them.
Right.
So it's an interesting thing, right? Again, that's the way my brain's working today. It's because of the messaging. So let's say taking care of your body is paramount to manifesting what you want, right? So if you're taking care of your body, then you'll start to see who you really are by the care you show, right? Because that's what it takes. Again, think about it as a practice. If I'm making my own food, if I'm cooking my own food, if I'm taking the time, I am meditating. There's a moment like, have you ever cooked? I sing like an old person. I play like R&B. I'm in there just drifting on a memory and just cutting stuff up. Like it's all good, right? And it becomes a process of you realize. I told Ashley a long time ago. I said, "This is how I love you. Like this is when I cook like I love you." Right? It becomes a statement of not just what I want to give you, but it becomes an expression of who I am.
What
So,
you put
right.
in, what you put into your cooking.
Correct. So this is important, right? Practice. It's all practice. I'm not too busy to love my family. Why would I be too busy to cook for myself?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense, right? Like again, I can't come in here and take care of y'all if I'm sick.
Right.
So you have to take care of yourself. By extension, you take care of the rest around you. But you do that by learning.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to share mine. I just kind of did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
that was
the sharing what you know and helping others is what we're all here for, right? So if that's what we're doing here, then why wouldn't I do that with the extension of the food I created? I actually fed M last week. She was like, "Oh, this is actually pretty good." But then like compliments to the chef, she just ate the shit and then brought back the containers, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
And like old me would be very offended. Yo, why you didn't tell me you liked it?
I did tell you you
I
liked
didn't.
it.
I'm just saying. I would that would be my question. I'd be all over it. I'd be very upset about it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be paranoid about it because I was so new at cooking, right? But I'm now at a point, like even if I do something new, I'm just like, I know it's fine. Even if it's not that great, I know it's fine. Do you want some? Boom, like share.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, keep going. Also, I know the people that eat my cooking feel better, right? Right?
Y'all, it was good.
Weird.
Yeah,
It actually helps you, like, because I cook with turmeric, cumin, different spices that people use. Those are too
inflammation.
easy,
Ooh.
very easy
Yeah.
to add that don't really mess with flavor profiles. Turmeric does, but cumin, it tastes like damn near nothing.
Yeah.
Right? It's something you can add. You don't have to do a lot. A tablespoon a day is all that's required. Like, do you realize how small that is?
Just get it in you.
Right.
Yeah.
You could try mixing it into your drinks and drinking it.
Yeah, we have
and
done
that I have done that, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
terrible.
terrible.
It's terrible. So
Turmeric
it's
drinks?
way better in
Yeah.
your food, right? Way better in your food. And yes, maybe your food won't be as flavorful if you use like adobo. But again, now you know what's going into your food. There's no guesswork.
Yeah.
And it's just that now you can create those flavor profiles like adobo,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
It's insane.
Without all the filler
Correct.
shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Preservatives.
Correct. So, taking care of yourself is paramount, and by extension, you are taking care of your mental health when you cook too.
Yeah.
And
it's all
honestly,
connected.
your spiritual bugs too.
Absolutely.
Facts.
That's why I sing every time. That's exactly why I sing. It sounds like a joke, but I really do be in there listening to oldies or like something, and it's always something uplifting, right? It's never like, fuck this food, like, it's never.
Hey, yo, that's me.
Shove it. And it's never like
That's
that.
me. I'll be twerking.
No.
Yeah, that might happen
Whip
in my
it
kitchen.
through the glass. Yeah. I do
Nourishment.
want to get into some
spiritual?
science of the spiritual side of
Okay.
the food type stuff.
The food type.
Yeah,
stuff.
so
All right.
it's going back to water, right? It's the science of the spiritual.
Yeah.
All right.
This is why people think Devin's gold.
We're made of it mostly.
We're mostly made out of this. Yeah. The elixir of life. The reason I call it that is because there's no other substance in the universe that is a compound and also acts like an element. It maintains vibrational properties. It nourishes us all. It's mostly what this earth is. And it has a memory, vibrational properties that it holds on to, like create this memory. So I like to look at it like any thought that you have, any intent that you have, changes the structural and property of the water around you. So if you're drinking water and you're having positive thoughts, that water is going to nourish you better than if you have negative thoughts and you're drinking the same water. I think that's why holy water is a thing. I think that's why we pray over our food. I think that's why a lot of the things that we do, negative or positive, affect the people around us because it's mostly water.
Okay, so I would disagree a little bit, but why I would disagree matters, right? So like you mentioned it, like one affects the other. I agree with that, but the order therein is off. So let's say this bottle of water, when someone creates this in a factory, the only thing they're thinking about is putting it into the bottle. There's no intention. Right. But if you've ever had like water prepared by someone who like they went and gathered it from a stream, it's like life-giving. Right. The important part is that it came from the stream first. The intention was already pure. They just kept it pure. So it's not it's not like one. It's not the other way around. It's not your intention makes it pure. No, your intention keeps it pure. Right. Water was created by something much greater than you. So like if it comes from dirty source, that can be cleaned. But the properties that were in the water only change via the dirt, not by you. You get what I'm saying?
Solid.
So which is, that's what I'm saying. It matters, even if you're looking at it on a science level, which is still spiritual if you look at things in a way that
science
connects
is
them
just
all.
to explain the magic.
Yeah, science is magic explained, right? And that's what I said. It just matters. I know. Science is magic explained.
Yep.
And if you look at it like that, then you get to realize that a lot of the things that we see or don't see are actually based on the things we understand, not that they're not there, right? Which is why so much people have so many problems with faith. No? So, you're right. Spirits, and so when it comes to a spiritual tip, it does matter. And vibrations and frequencies do matter. But what matters even more than that is sourcing. What source are you filling your cup from? Is it living water or is it dead? That's why you have pH levels. Lots of places add alkalinity afterwards, and that water is not even close. It's actually not good for you when it's added, which is crazy because they're telling you it's good for you, but it's really not. You're actually better off having like your non-alkalized ash water than having water with alkalinity added because it actually makes it poisonous.
Some of the best water, well water.
Yeah. You had well water before?
Oh,
it's fire.
I grew up on well water, bro.
Yeah, that's fair. That's what,
Wait, you grew up? Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had like four wells or something on our farm.
When you move somewhere and you have water for the first time, like we're actually Rochester. Shout out to Rochester for this one. Their water's pretty good.
It is.
Dead bodies in it.
Yeah. Too soon.
That was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
That body was in there a whole month.
Reportedly.
It really was. We were drinking that thing for 30 days and they quarantined it.
That's why I filter my water.
Facts. So again, a lot of what you necessarily need can be found in the things you consume, which I say all the time. Consuming doesn't have to just be eat.
Right.
See, hear, feel, everything. Again, you can literally be sick by what you consume. Yes, which is why I'm so adamant. Like I was talking to Margie this morning about like having my child watch old school things because there's a lot of, respectfully, messaging I don't want my kids having part of
from the new
coming in the new stuff, and they're hiding it. And you don't even know who's hiding it because you don't even know who produces it. It's just, it becomes you can see it in kids. It's like red dyes and red 14?
Red 40.
4D. Okay, yeah. I always forget if it's 14 or 40. But red 40 literally drives kids nuts because it's not natural.
That Code Red Mountain Dew got me ADHD up.
Listen. And it's scary because it's so accessible in so many different things, right? So as a young man, I didn't understand that stuff, but I'd be like, man, Lauren's always like sad. What the hell is going on? It's a lot of it is what she's consuming, right? So we stopped changing that stuff. Literally, that's why I started playing old school cartoons. I was like, the messaging is great. You ever seen old school G.I. Joe? They teach a lesson after every single one, right? Like they actually give a damn. You get what I'm saying? You know. So yeah, now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Hey, G.I. Joe. So a lot of it is exactly like that. If you're looking to help yourself or any of the people around you First of all, get well yourself and become a beacon of health, right? Because that will show other people what they could have, right? Most people
Modeling
don't
is
even
the
believe.
strongest form.
Yeah.
Word.
Self-love literally is the greatest form of love that you can express. And it's kind of wild that people think it's the opposite. But again, you've always been taught it is. Yes? Your self-worth and all that is tied, is like, you don't have to gain self-worth, you already have it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
It's
just
just
remembering.
using it. It's just using it. It's learning how to facilitate the thing. You're not earning like your own efficacy, right? So, sorry, we went a little deep, but we were talking spiritual.
Yeah, yes, that's what it's
Yeah,
supposed
I
to be.
mean, it
Yeah.
is
So
deep.
I
Yeah.
might as well cover it, right? Okay, so bugs in spirituality, inconsistency, 100%.
Right.
Hard, horrible bug is inconsistency, right? Because I learned a long time ago. I was just kind of mentioning it today about the whole like seeing things like I feel like I'm being chased by God, because I didn't take the time to sit with God this morning. So now it's like a constant pull, yes, and that feels awful, right? But also like, this is where I think the out of body comes from for so many people, right? Because there's something outside of you pulling on you and you don't even know what it is. Now again, could be good, could be bad. In my case, it happens to be something pretty good, amazing, nothing better, right? But sometimes it can be some pretty bad stuff, a negative person in your life. It could be a situation that you don't feel like you have control over. You know what I'm saying? It could be something negative. And then what you consume then matters, right? Because if you're consuming, like, this is why I always tell people when they go through a hard time, I'm like, don't engage with that at all. Give yourself a chance to really see it for what it is, because you're probably so deep into it, you can't see it, right?
Close on it.
Right. If I'm like this, I can't even read that it says Fiji. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't see the words. You're too close,
You're too close, man.
right? And that does matter. You cannot heal from the thing you do not understand. Yes. So, spiritually, inconsistency being the issue is the issue for me. I actually remedy that by creating habits stacked with things that I have no choice but to do. And that's what makes it much easier to do those things. Like my whole personal wellness journey, I was depressed and anxious when I started, and I don't know if I talk about that enough. A lot of people think I'm just up here, kind of posturing when I'm talking about, no, this is the only way through. I know this is the way through. I've seen it so many times. This is the way through, right? When I was depressed and anxious, nothing felt right. Nothing looked good. Nothing smelled the correct way. Everything felt off. But I remember being like, I'm gonna make this commitment to myself, and that's when I found the trainer that I do talk about. I used a online program to follow, and they had a video that came in the mail like every single day, and I watched this motherfucker every day because it was inspiring, right? It was inspiring to learn. And there's a bigger topic I think we'll cover next time with the 4 conscious levels. But the thing that happened here when I was in that is I was trying to move from the first phase to the second phase, to learning how to manifest myself, right? And then when I was in the manifestation phase, watching someone literally be walking, talking manifestation helped me to realize that it was possible. I don't think I knew it was possible before I really saw someone doing it, right? And that allowed for me to start saying, okay, I want that. I don't want this first stuff. This first stuff sucks, right? Everybody's stuck here. It's like most of the masses are here, and they're so angry and so sad and so negative in general. I don't want this. I want at least that second stage. And that helped, right? I started to show up every single day. There was days I couldn't even lift my arm. I was in there one arm, just like, I'm just doing what I can. I don't know, right? And the more I tend, the more knowledge I grew. The more knowledge I grew, the more my mental became strong. More strong my mental was, my body started to follow, and I started to truly heal. And in that space, that's when people started asking me what my routine was. I see you every day. Now I'm being acknowledged. I didn't even come here for that. And now I'm so stuck in the first phase. I'm like, in the second phase, I'm like, don't talk to me while I'm manifesting, right? Like, that's where I'm at, right?
Don't even talk to me.
I'm in there like Batman, don't talk to me, right? And I'm just out here doing my thing, and people are trying to talk to me. I'm just looking at them like this. Don't look at me, don't talk to me. I don't even like people, right? Because in this phase of my life, I took it so seriously that I knew it really was life or death. Not for just me, but for the people I care about too. So that was big for me, right? Like, it was big for me. And again, that was only tapping into the bare minimum. So consistency, and then literally using that to build habits that sustain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're next. One of you got to be next.
I don't know, we hopped all
Spiritual.
We did hop all over the place.
Spiritual.
Yeah, we're going this way now.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
we went from that way to this way.
Yeah,
Now we're
we
going
just-
back
that
the
was
other way.
it.
Send it back.
We got Uno reverse card. You can
Oh,
Send it back. That's actually stuck on you.
yeah, it's stuck on you now. Yeah.
All right. Gosh, spiritual bugs. That's that's a deep well for me. Yeah, I agree with the consistency part. I've definitely had parts of my life where I had very deep spiritual practices, and then watched myself get away from them, and then return, and then get away. And in the spiritual practice is always better, and I feel more connected to myself, and my body's healthier. So like we're saying, like all these pieces really go together. But I think feeling connected to something greater than yourself, and seeing that in the spaces you go, the people that you surround yourself with, the deeper you are in your practice, the more you feel connected to source, but you also, like you're talking about seeing colors today, like you do see more of that just in your daily life in people where you go. And you can also feel when there's a deficit of that connection in people and places. So I think it kind of, for me, it bolsters my intuition that I'm able to see more clearly. And yeah, I definitely feel away from that right now. Like I feel in one way in it, like I'm being called back there. I kind of stepped away from myself for a while, and in so doing stepped away from my spirituality, and I'm going back there, and it feels very right. So yeah,
Okay. Should we talk about how shitty the journey feels?
feels like crap.
I think that's important though. Like,
Yeah.
like seriously, I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
think that's important, because people are like, it's amazing. And they're watching some girl do this with her lean stomach just go down.
She might not be spiritual
like,
at all. You know, probably not. But like you said, you had to have that life or death feeling. Like the times that I've been most in tune with my spirituality has been like, I have to do this,
Okay.
or I won't continue.
We shouldn't say this on camera, but I'm gonna say it on camera because we do what the fuck we want. I was gonna kill myself before I started. I was thinking about quitting suicide a couple different times, right? So like it kept coming to my head because of what I was struggling with, and that's why it was life or death. It was like if I didn't get it together, and like, can you imagine? I'm not gonna cry. Can you imagine having a small child look at you with all the hope of the world, and you're thinking about leaving that? That's why. That's what made me be like, nope, can't do that. Can't even play with what I'm feeling right now. There's no way I'm leaving this little person who believes in me. That's what helped me start my journey and take it very seriously. Like we talk about that all the time. I tell that story from time to time where Lauren came in a room and I had a cast on because I had completely broken my stuff and I wasn't doing any. I had tried it before to like work out because it's good for you, and it didn't stick. And I remember I was going to physical therapy. I was frustrated, all the things, right? And I'm going to summarize it because this could be a very long story. But let's just say Lauren wanted me to pick her up, and I got frustrated. So I kind of yelled at her, and then she went in the other room crying and asking her mother, like, why can't daddy pick me up? And that hurt. Like, that hurt badly. Not only had I yelled at her, but I really couldn't pick her up. I was in a cast. I was feeling sorry for myself. You can't pick somebody else up if you're not picked up, if you're not elevated. You cannot reach down and grab a person if you're at the same space as them. So yes, I can make you feel better, but if I don't feel better myself, then I'm lying to you, and it's gonna be real easy for you to fall back down. So for me, that was my moment. I was like, I'm gonna get better. Like, this is happening. This isn't, I want it to happen. No, this is what I'm doing. So every time I went in that office, they like, yeah, sir, just squeeze the ball. I'm in there like, and they're like, why is he taking it so seriously? Like, they don't even understand. So that's why when I started going to the gym and people started avoiding me, I was like, good, because I'm healing and you're fighting. You're just doing shit to do shit. I'm not even offended that you don't want to spend time or get to know me better, because you're about platitudes and I have attitude towards your platitudes. So I'm good with it, right? Like, that doesn't bother me at all. You want to pretend that you feel better? I'll actually be better, both physically, mentally, and spiritually, right? My physical manifestation is a literal manifestation of this thing right here, right? And it's built by spiritual. If I know God loves me, I can love myself. That's what it was for me. And that's how my whole messaging started. And I just kept going. Next thing you know, everybody respects me. And next thing you know, I got knowledge that other people ain't got. Next thing you know, I'm that dude you can't ignore anymore. That's what happened, right? It wasn't, and again, it was daily. Every single fucking,
Getting it daily.
Because that is where the name came from.
That's
right.
That is where the name came from. Huh?
I would say to that too, like for what I'm going through right now, like you said, like you can't reach down and pick somebody up if you are too messed up to do so. But I would also say that when you're in your healing journey, you don't have to be all the way there. Like, I feel that right now, like I'm going through stuff, but I also feel like it still feels important and valuable if my friends are also, which I think everybody's going through something. I feel honored that they'll still share that with me and respect me to give advice or listen or whatever the thing is. Like, that's really important to me too. And it feels like reciprocal energy. Like we're keeping each other going, and that's a huge part of why I like it here. And what I love about all of you is that reciprocal. Like, yeah, you're having a hard time, but I still respect you, and like I know that you're still here for me too. Even if we're all climbing that ladder together. I think it's really important to not have to be all the way there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deep emotion for the win.
Yeah.
And
Ooh, it's on me. It's on me. Yeah, I think spiritual bug, I'm thinking spiritual deficit, that phrase has been kind of rattling around for me for a few months. The consistency thing is definitely, I know that like everybody brought that up, right? The spiritual bug feeling like an inconsistency. I feel that consumption, whatever I'm consuming is, either gonna make that worse or make it better. I agree on all levels, my food, my media, the people that I'm around, thoughts, energy, all of that stuff. So I think being able to lean into, community in those moments, because there are people who can lift me up with just seeing them, seeing they're maybe not in a spiritual deficit right now. They don't have a bug, and they can help, remind me why I want to stay consistent, and remind me why I should consume healthy, things.
Fair.
Food or not.
Fair.
I also think that gratitude can play a big part in tipping that scale back from the deficit into there. And for me, that can look like setting time aside to journal. I think that's a great way for me to connect and like take inventory.
Yeah.
Right? And writing it out. For me, I really like that process. I hated journaling when I started. My first journal that I bought, the first thing I wrote in it is, I fucking hate doing this, right? That was the first thing I wrote because I hated it. But I knew that I needed a change. It was like the day after my 31st birthday or something, and I felt like shit. I was depressed as fuck, I went out drinking the night before, so I felt real shitty and more depressed than I felt, because alcohol is a depressant.
It is.
So, I was like a year, not even like 8 months or so after I had gotten divorced, right? I was just like, I was a fucking mess. And I was a fake it till you make it type of person. I guess I was like ready to make it at that point. Like, I'm done faking it. This is terrible and I hate it. But taking the inventory, I think, is a great thing to do, because I think when you're in that spiritual deficit, it's really easy to fall back into victim mode, right? And you're like, things are happening to me, right? Why? Look at all this shit. And it's like, yeah, but things happen to everybody all the time. And how much of that shit is your fault?
Fair.
How much of it isn't?
Also fair.
You know, like, I think it's good to know both of those things, and being able to take like
yes.
inventory and self-reflect in an honest way, I think is a really huge step in being able to maintain a consistent spiritual practice, because you're not bullshitting.
Right.
That's where the platitude stuff comes in, where it's like, yeah, it feels like fucking shit. And like every level you go to, you're like, yo, okay, so this feels worse. But it's easier and harder all at the same time.
And then you look back, see that, and that's why the take inventory thing makes sense, because I didn't realize it, right? Like, it's like training in general, right? You're lifting a 1 pound weight, you're like, man, this weight's too easy. Then you take it to the 10 pounder, you're like, this is challenging. And then you go to the 15 and you're like, oh, I'm struggling so hard. Oh, this is challenging. And you go to the 20, you're like, I'm getting it, but it's hard. And all of a sudden you're like, this is challenging. And then you go to 50 and 60. All of a sudden there's just something that happens where you just make a large jump. And then your body's like, that's what it is. Like, you're getting stronger. So of course you can handle more. Right? Because you're getting stronger. Like, that's the whole thing. Your resistance training is even in spirituality. You're resisting the need to be yourself. You're resisting the will of something greater than yourself, right? Of course you get stronger doing so. That's why no matter what you do, if you feed it, it grows, right? Feed your inconsistency, it grows. Feed your practice of journaling, it's gonna grow, right? And you might still be like, yeah, journaling is kind of stupid, but it does this. Like, journaling makes me feel amazing one day. But then when someone asks you, you're like, no, I completely understand. Or I can tell you that journaling did this for me. They're like, wow, that's amazing. You're like, doesn't feel like it, right? But it still works, right? I mean, that's what real healing has looked like for most of my life, right? So whenever I hear someone like doing the smiley one, I'm like, all right, I get it. You paid $1,000 for a retreat. You went to the retreat, and it told you that you have to smile.
Yeah,
because that's a great way to do it, and it probably does feel very good for you.
You lift the corners of your mouth.
Right? It's okay that it feels good, but is it the work you need to do?
Yeah.
Like, that's the question, because the stuff you don't want to do don't feel good.
Yeah,
like,
shadow work doesn't feel good.
No, hell no. And there's two of them. There's shadow and light.
Yeah, I think both of them don't feel good.
Yeah, listen, but that's when if you're a darkness practitioner and you do some light. Let's make it simple. Let's bring it to modern terms. If you're an introvert and somebody tells you, well, to be better at public speaking, you got to go to the public. That's extrovert stuff. That doesn't feel good, right? If you're an extrovert and all you do is party and hang with your friends, and somebody tells you you need to go home and journal by yourself, that's not going to be easy, right? You're fighting your actual nature to be better. Okay, sounds like a challenge.
Challenge.
What you got?
It's that.
Yeah, challenge.
It's that. It's challenge.
Challenge.
I think that is me taking stock. I think for my whole life, I've always felt that there was source, and it was hard for me to make connection. It's still hard for me to make connection. Not to what is, but like, how do I connect? You know, like finding that in me. And to me, it feels like an onion if you're allergic to onions, right? If you can't touch onions, but someone said there's a gold nugget at the center of every onion, you just gotta peel back all the layers. And you're just like, all right, shit. Now I start peeling layers and your fingers are bruised and they start like chafing and start bleeding, and you still gotta claw through the layers of the onions. That's what it feels like to me. I'm like, if you're saying that, you know, source is in me, right? Source is in all of us. I feel like that's why I'm here doing this consistently. It's like I'm peeling back the layers, like beating up your body, you know, like seeing what it's capable of, like treating it how, like what it is, you know, it's a vehicle to get you through. And that kind of is eye-opening to me, that like your vehicle will always start if you're, you know, if your spirit is says, hey, start. And I think that's wild to me. Like, I think I get closer to making that connection to source the more that I beat my body up, the more that I like consistently get up and say, let's move, let's do the thing. And I think a big part of it was accumulating wins. So the more wins that I have, the more I'm like, where are these, where's it coming from? And it's like, oh, I see myself in the story now. I see myself in the frame of the picture. And when I look at that, it's not my body, it's not my mind. You know, it's something deeper than that, and that's driving the whole system.
Yeah.
And I see that, and I think community is important too, because when you see people also peeling back their onions, you're like, oh, there's gold in there too. And it's honestly the same gold that I got. You know, like, yeah, our onions look a little different. I'm a red onion. You might be a Vidalia?
A Vidalia.
Yeah, but either way, it's gold at the center. It's a wild analogy, but that's kind of how I look at it.
I love the onion analogy. I'm always using the onion thing.
Analogies are like one of the great ways
Yeah.
of teaching.
Yeah.
Like, it's storytelling.
Because you're going to cry when you peel back that onion.
Yeah, you're gonna cry. Oh,
Fair.
Shit.
this shit ain't easy.
It's going to hurt. It's
fair.
going to sting you.
It's
Like,
gonna sting.
"Nah."
You're still doing it. It's a good analogy. What's funny is like I like to expand on things that are said, right? So everyone's gold nugget is not the same. They're actually different, but that's what makes them beautiful, right? And that's why, like, let's say we're all trying to create the ultimate masterpiece. Well, maybe your gold nugget doesn't look like gold; it looks like blue cerulean.